most of it not worth holding on to. Still, she holds on to the story, tells in snapshots and fragments of how she came to leave her Oregon childhood farm and move to a small town in the interior of British Columbia. At the mouth of the wide hole her father dug in the field beside the farmhouse, my mother, 10 years old, stood with her 7 siblings. "You can each keep one thing," their mother had told them. "That's all we have room for." Into the pit of old chairs, crockery, horseshoes, twine, shingles, worn tires, and pairs of 2 small shoes, they flung in what they couldn't take. Old toys, a rusted tricycle, books so warped and waterlogged the pages stuck together. What did she take with her? I want to know. What did she save? She tells me she can still see the wicker buggy tied with rope to the back of the overloaded truck, and the doll she held in her lap on the 3-day road trip, that doll and buggy, her one thing, what she chose to save. When I ask her why they dug that hole in the first place and left so much behind, she shrugs, lifts her hands in a who knows gesture. They only took what they needed. My mother can't recall the full catalog of all they tossed into that pit. Whatever's gone is gone, she says, but does remember her older brother sneaking away, not wanting his possessions to end up there. Somewhere along a creek shore, where the waters run from the Gooseneck River bend, he dug his own small hole in the earth and dumped in his prized marble collection, burying the Aggies and shooters, the rainbows and cat's eyes, then patted the dirt back in place and stared at it a while, as if to memorize that patch of ground for when he might return and rescue what he couldn't keep. The doctrine of redemption runs blood deep and won't let go. Below some suburb of swept sidewalks and tidy lawns lie artifacts of her childhood, of my mother's old life. And I want to go back, to excavate the site, dig up what's lost. I want to pick up the bits and pieces left behind and put them back together, to see the pattern in her story, our story, my story. Everything that happened in life, every accident, argument, tragedy, and delight, pointed back to an ancient narrative. From the beginning, I learned to see the physical world as a shadow copy of a spiritual realm, that bigger story in which all our smaller stories live and move and have their being. When I lay back on the scratchy grass to watch the sky, the clouds morphed into imagined creatures, this cumulus fluff ball a fat hippo, that white wisp a lizard. From a cirrus streak to a serpent, to a clue about the kingdoms of light and darkness, which were always at war. The cloud shifted, became a hint of higher meaning, like the ghost handwriting on the wall above King Belshazzar's banquet table. Numbered, weighed, divided. Above me, all around me, the earth kept speaking, sending messages from a story that began in Eden and ended in Armageddon, authored otherworldly. When my brother and I fought over the last fudgesicle in the freezer, and no amount of verbal wrangling could sway either of us from our respective cries of, "It's mine!" my mother raised a knife above it and said, "Remember Solomon?" Of course we did. No child easily forgets the 2 mothers arguing over the one baby left alive, both claiming that it's hers, that the dead baby belongs to the other, until Solomon calls for a sword to divide the living baby in 2, 1/2 for each mother. In our illustrated Uncle Arthur's Bible stories, the wise king holds a gleaming blade above a swaddled infant, while the true mother's eyes widen